Thank you very much, Mr. Sridhar, for a nice introduction. And I'll straight away come to the point. That is a very a small presentation I'm going to make is for development of solar energy in India. In fact, as an academic institution, I'm aware that Amity University has academic systems for renewable energy. They have the Department of Solar and so on. Many things have been done. And I'm sure that many of the developments you must be aware with. But I just thought to take you through a journey of how the solar energy development has taken in our country. So I have structured my presentation in these following points: some facts about renewable energy, then basic best research cell efficiencies, manufacturing status, then power schemes, barriers, and so on. I take the date back in 1950 when few R&D projects on renewable energy initiated by CSIR. And at that time, it was only some biogas development kind of thing. Then in 1972, the National Committee on Science and Technology of DST formulated a renewable energy development program. It worked for a certain period of time, but in 1976, some R&D activities initiated by the Department of Science and Technology on renewable energy. And that was the year when you all know that Central Electronics Limited, CEL, which is the first solar cell manufacturing company in the country, it was conceptualized and started in 1976. Then in 1981, the Government of India made a commission of additional sources of energy. This commission was made to study the requirement of the renewables in the country and their potential and whether it is feasible or not. And this commission gave its report within 6 months of time. And within a 1 year time, we had a Department of Non-Conventional Energy Sources, which is the previous name of this ministry. Then in 1992, a full-fledged ministry came into being. And now the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, you know it very well. This is the status of Indian power sector. It is only about 3 months back data. I think by March they are compiling the data. So I did not bring that data, which is under halfway. So you can see that the renewables are playing a great role. When it started from the scratch. But today renewables are playing about 23.1% of the total installations of the power scenario in the country. We have 368 gigawatt of the total installation, in which renewable is 23, nuclear is about 2, hydro is about 12.6%, and thermal is major, which is 62.7%. Out of the renewables, the potential has been assessed through various studies and through the data we collected from the ISRO and space organizations also. You can see that over 1,000 gigawatt we can alone at present produce from the renewables itself. We have done only 86 gigawatt. So there is a huge potential available to be explored from the renewables. And out of the 86 gigawatt, you can see that the major is the wind and solar. The major power is basically from the wind and solar. Solar is 39, about 40 gigawatt, and wind you can see is 37 gigawatt, and then the small hydro and biopower. Small hydro is basically for the sake of administration. The Government of India has divided up to 25 megawatt of projects are taken under the small hydropower, and that is done by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. The capacity addition, this is the journey of the capacity addition of renewables in our country. You can see that how it started from basically 2006-07, and today it is reached to 86 gigawatt. And I'm sure that when we compile the figure, it will cross something about 92 gigawatt or so. So this is the journey of the renewables, and this is the roadmap that the government of India has right now. How the renewables are being propagated in the country. We have about 175 gigawatt as our target by 2022. It is also again enhancement, and so far the orders are yet to come, so I'm not going to announce that. And out of that, solar is 100 gigawatt, wind is 60 gigawatt, and rest is small hydropower and bioenergy. You know, now because this is the in this presentation I'm going to focus on this solar only. If you give some opportunity, then in some another opportunity I can concentrate on wind or so. I just thought to concentrate on a single sector. You can see that the National Solar Mission, it started in 2010. It was launched by the government in 2010, where the 20,000 megawatt was the target kept for the solar power. And we were going in, out of that, 2,000 was from the off-grid and 18,000 was from the on-grid solar power. You know, that was a time when the largest size of the solar power plant that was available in our country was a 100 kilowatt plant only. That was the largest size of the solar power plant. And it was beyond imagination that you can go in a megawatt and gigawatt scale in a solar power. So during those days, the visionary ministry thought of that, and I was also a part of the National Solar Mission, fortunately. And at that time, we were so scared, even in announcing the 20 gigawatt for the solar power, which was very unacceptable to many of the power sector experts. But suddenly, when the new government came, and they said that even 20,000 megawatt is very less. So our target was increased 5 times, and today the target is 100 gigawatt. And you know, it came. The best part in our country is that it is being propagated in a very commercial manner. There is no government subsidy or government direct support or those kind of things. It is being propagated in a very commercial manner. I mean to say commercial manner means you can see from this graph that when we started in 2010 National Solar Mission, the cost of the solar power used to come to about 18 rupees per kilowatt hour. And it was totally unacceptable by our DISCOMs, by the power department, but only the one state, that is Gujarat state, came forward, and they said that we'll put up some plants and we'll take the power at this rate. And that is the point we find was basically an investment kind of thing, I can say, that the government of India invested at that time and paid 18 rupees a unit. And you will surprised to know that still those plants are being paid at this rate. So because it is a power purchase agreement for 20 years, so they'll be paying. But we take it as an investment, and we take it as a starting. Otherwise, this large size plant would have never come. And over a period of time, today you can see, although I am taking the May 17 figure, but today the cost of the solar power has come down to 2 rupees 44 paisa. That is the smallest fraction which we got, and many DISCOMs are buying at the rate of this or nearby that. And I'll also come to tell you how the solar power dynamics works. That is at a later stage. This may be of your interest. You can see that this is the best cell efficiencies available. So far, what we know, solar power is the solar cell which are made up by the monojunction or the multi-junction monocrystalline and the multicrystalline. But there are many other alternative materials in which parallelly the research is going on. And you can see, and most of these things are being done at the NREL and Fraunhofer in Germany, NREL in US, and few labs in UK and Spain. But you can see that the theoretical level efficiency has been achieved up to even 44%, but it is not available at the field level. Field level, we have achieved the efficiency this is the latest development, is the Parvos, is the PERC solar cell. PERC solar cell efficiency, it has been achieved at the ground level of 21%. So that is the maximum efficiency at the ground level available today. And okay, so now we come again back to the development of the solar energy and power in India. How it started, that there were few schemes conceptualized by the ministry. One of the major schemes is the solar park scheme. The concept of solar park is a park and which has many solar power plants in its campus. The major challenge was that how the big size power plants can be set up in a place where you need the connectivity, grid connectivity, you need the transmission system, you need the infrastructure for roads, you need the infrastructure for water, and so on. So our ministry made a scheme of solar park in which the basic infrastructure was provided. Means the land was procured by the government through a joint venture company. You know, everything which was planned right from the day one was on a purely commercial system, not as a program of the government or as a program of the state government fed by the government. No, everything went in a very commercial way. And the solar park conceptualized was that a minimum 500 megawatt single power plant can be put up in a solar park. Means a solar park will be called as by definition a solar park when it has at least 500 megawatt power plant in its campus. So when we tendered for the first time, it was very difficult for a single company to come and invest for the 500 megawatt solar power plant. Means at that time the cost used to come something around 10 to 12 crore rupees per megawatt. So you can imagine that it was a huge amount. So the solar park concept was made, and in the scheme we permitted that minimum 50 megawatt plant can be put up by a company. Means a company, so 10 companies can put up 550 megawatt plant, so minimum a 500 megawatt solar park will be there. And the development cost of solar park was provided by the government, means our ministry. The rate about 20 lakhs per megawatt we provided to the states, to the joint venture company. And how the solar park came, the management was that a state government's nodal agency, you must be aware that every state has a renewable energy development nodal agency or state department, and a Solar Energy Corporation of India. A new public sector undertaking has been set up under the National Solar Mission. So these two in different states will have a joint venture and they will execute the solar power park scheme. So our ministry is providing support to the getting proposal from the Solar Energy Corporation of India after a joint venture company has been made, and then they pose proposal to us. The ministry sanctions funds only for development of a solar park. But the next question comes that how to bring the manufacturer developers over here. And in this, the tender is made on reverse tariff bidding basis. Reverse tariff bidding basis means the tender will be floated based on the purchase of electricity by those developers. Means everything has to be taken care for investment for the initial cost by those developers. The concerned DISCOM or the government will only buy the produced power from the solar. So that was a concept in which the solar park scheme is working very well in the country. And today I'll elaborate a little more on that in our other slides. And then another concept, because solar power park was one of the concept of developing the solar power system in the country. Then we concentrated on the public sector undertakings, defense, NTPC, those who were already pioneer in development of other conventional power in the country. So the different targets were set for them, and they all are working together for development of solar in the country. Even defense came at a big way. About 350 megawatt was allocated, and defense is in their all 71 cantonment areas. They are making it, and in the open areas, they're also coming forward for the large size power plant. The major two components were there. One was a grid connected solar power, large size power plant, and another was the grid connected rooftop solar power. Rooftop, you are aware, I'm sure that in your campus there must be some solar power plants available in your campus. Today it has become very common. In fact, I was heading this solar rooftop system when we conceptualized this in 2013 under the National Solar Mission. Under that, unique thing in this system was it was a battery-less system. It was to be connected to the grid. Even the smallest fraction of 2 kilowatt or 5 kilowatt was to be connected to the local distribution grid available, distribution line and grid available within the house or a campus or a premises. So this is the grid connected rooftop, and today this program has become a very major program. In the beginning, we had to change the policy of the state government. We had to change the policies of the central by Central Electricity Authority for issuing some regulatory orders. We had to convince the regulators for allowing the injection of rooftop solar electricity produced, excess produced into the grid, and so on. So these are the major policy level decision out of that. And these are the VGF scheme, solar rooftop scheme, Kusum scheme. So few schemes I'm just going to elaborate on that. Solar rooftop power scheme, park scheme I have already elaborated, and this is the Charanka solar park. This is the first solar park of 460 megawatt in the country, which started in 2011 or 12, close to 11, end of the 11, and based on this concept, the other solar park scheme got developed. So you can see a solar park, you can only see the panels, and a complete huge area which is covered by the panels. And capacity, you can see that the initial scheme was approved in December 14 and with a target of 20 gigawatt, and thereafter the capacity enhanced in March 17 and CFA pattern, as I told, 20 lakh per megawatt only for development of the project, means land, electricity transmission unit, water, and so on. So today you can see that over about 27,000 megawatt capacity has been approved in the country, and about 1.3 lakh acres of land has been identified. It is under development, or in many places the plants are under installation. And these are the few data. I leave my presentation so that you can take it as per your interest. Viability gap funding. This was the concept when what happened that the solar power which was being produced was having little more cost as compared to the average pool purchase price of the electricity by the DISCOMs from the conventional sources. So at that time, the DISCOMs were not ready to buy the solar power because it was expensive. A lot of regulations came, but practically it was very difficult. So for a certain chunk of the capacity, the government of India came and viability gap was made, filled up by them. Like viability gap means if the solar power cost is coming 6 rupees and the average pool purchase price available for them is 550, then 50 paisa per unit will be compensated by the our ministry. That is how the system got started working in the country. Otherwise, it was very difficult to inject the solar power into the existing grid system in the country. And VGF was also based on the reverse tendering basis. Means, suppose I am a developer, I want a 50 paisa per unit support from the government. Another developer comes, he said, I can do it in 40 paisa per unit. So 40 paisa per unit person will get it. It is called the reverse bidding system in the country. And that is how from different sector of the segment, the solar power came into the country. And we have today we have many solar power plants available in the country. The solar rooftop system, now I come to that. The grid connected solar rooftop system, the major advantage of this system is that the power is produced at the source of its utilization. So about more than 22% capacity, 22% the transmission and distribution losses which are taking in our country are reduced by using the solar rooftop systems. I'm sure that many of you are well aware with the today the solar rooftop system, and when this solar rooftop system was conceptualized, the major challenge came was its administration. With at what rate the electricity is to be charged by the discoms from the users, because the users were many. Even me and you can are the users, are the developers. So a new concept of prosumer came into being. I mean, this is the first word I listened in 2013. The prosumer means I am also producing electricity and I'm also consuming electricity. So these two, I'm playing both the roles, and the mechanism of net metering or the gross metering was conceptualized, and we made presentations in all the states towards the regulators, and we made both the concepts available for them in which they are comfortable. Most of these states came on net metering mechanism. Net metering mechanism is a mechanism in which the electricity is netted. I mean, you get the net bill, means import and export of electricity is recorded into a electricity bill. Suppose earlier I was using 150 units a month, and I put my solar power which is producing 50 units a month, then I will get electricity bill for 100 units a month. So that was at the same tariff which is available for conventional power. The solar tariff was net metered under this mechanism. Most of the states came forward, and 36 states, I mean all the states today announced the regulations for the net metering. And this is the administrative issue, that how the benchmark cost and grid connected solar rooftop power plants are available. And this is the only sector in which, for the residential sector only, some financial support is given by the government. We call it subsidy, we call it financial help, we call it financial support, and so on. So these are the benchmark costs. But today I find the benchmark costs are even less than this, which has come to the market. Today you can have a solar rooftop system at the rate of about 35 to 40 rupees per watt, or you can say 35,000 to 40,000 rupees per kilowatt system in your country, in your home. This is the fate of manufacturing in our country. But ultimately, we can see today that the power which the solar manufacturing, this is the gray area, I would say right now, because our consumption is more. We are buying a lot from the foreign countries than we are producing ourselves. You can see that we are hardly producing 3 gigawatt per year, and we install about 10 to 15 gigawatt a year. So there is a huge gap in manufacturing capacity. But the things work on the market mode. Market mode means the cheapest thing goes commercially. So that is how our Indian manufacturers got little worried about that. And I would say that most of the funds we are buying from outside. But now we are quite aware, and the government has brought some features, some incentives for setting up the plant in the country. And right now, I find that there is a big opportunity that most of the companies which put their plant in our neighboring countries are coming to India. So India should and India will reap this benefit, and I'm sure that when our manufacturing in a year or so will be at par at only supporting the country but also through the export. And so for manufacturing, a few schemes came from the government in which some capital subsidy was also envisaged. But more than the capital subsidy, the major thing was supported was that if I get a 1,000 megawatt of solar power park installation, then I'll have to put at least 10% or 25% of that manufacturing capacity in the country. So that is how different schemes are being promoted in the country, and let us see that how we succeed into this. I'm not going to elaborate much on that because there are a lot of things to see. The major, the one principle or one, I would say, the regulation which came it was very difficult to convince the discount voluntarily for buying the solar power or the renewable power as compared to the total conventional power. So a RPO, means the renewable purchase obligation rule, came into being, and which said that if I am buying 100 units, I'll have to buy at least year-wise targets are there. Let us say the target of current year is 10 units I'll have to buy from the non-solar and 8 units I'll have to buy from the solar. Means about 19% of the total purchase power should be from renewables. That is the strategy, that is the rule, that is the regulation. Every state discoms are buying power at that rate, not rate, at that capacity. That is how the renewable power is being fed to the grid system. And this is the state of the electricity production from renewable sources, excluding hydroelectric percentage of the total. So you can see that the Germany is at number 1, and then we have the UK, then we have Brazil, Japan, and India is also slowly coming to a very high installation and utilization of the solar power in the country. The grid connected solar power rooftop, a new scheme has been has come into being, in which up to 3 kilowatt installation at a residence, the 40% cost will be met by the government. Means I have to pay only 60% of the cost. So if you want to install solar rooftop at your home, at your institution, anyway, no, it's only for the individuals and home itself. And up to 3 kilowatt, you will get 40%, and up to from 3 to 10 kilowatt, you will get 40 plus 20% of the balance capacity. So that is how the subsidy administration is being done. And in another scheme has been, which this is for the off-grid system, because the large size solar power plants are being set up, but now there was a demand for the small size installation of the solar power plants. So this scheme came conceptualized, in which the 10,000 megawatt of the decentralized ground-mounted grid-connected solar power plants, means if I am a farmer at the ground level, I want to install some solar power plant at my place, up to 2 megawatt, I can do that in our land. But the land has to be barren, it should not be the cultivable land or cultivated land. The component B of this is that about 1.75 million solar power agricultural pumps, they are being set up, means the conventional pumps are being replaced by the solar pumps all over the country. And another component is the solarization of the agricultural pumps, which are, means if a village has 10 solar pumps at their premises, these can also be grid connected. Means during non-usable hours of the water, they can sell their electricity to the grid. Means it's a combination of the solar pumps and the solar rooftop scheme. So, a farmer can have their income more than from their routine agricultural operations. So they can have it, and this scheme is becoming very popular. It is being oversubscribed from all the corner of the country. Now, off-grid and distributed solar power, again the new scheme has come. The scheme has the solar street light installations and in which the 75% cost by the, I mean, the most of the subsidy you can see is from the government is for the decentralized solar application systems. Under this, the solar street lighting systems under various segments are being covered, and in this you can see some figure that the 2.38 lakh solar street lights and 17 lakh solar pumps are being installed in the country in a very commercial mode. Their tenders are being finalized and they are going to be floated in a big way so that the cost reduction can take place in the country. Another scheme for decentralized system is the 70 lakh solar study lamp scheme, in which the lamps are distributed to the students at the village level with the marginal contribution of 100 rupees only. So that this is basically for the students and those who are studying at various levels, and if there is any issue of the electricity. It is not so easy. There are a lot of barriers and a lot of challenges. You can see that the cost and availability of land for solar park or solar power is the main challenge. When the solar scheme came into being, land was freely available. It was very easy to get the land. But today, it is one of the biggest problem or biggest issue to get the land for such purpose. Grid instability, this matter also has to be taken care of. So you have to take care of the installation concentration in a very judicial manner so that it doesn't destabilize the grid. Then non-cooperation by the distribution agency. I'm sorry, I'm very straight way writing this, but this is a fact and reality at the field level where the distribution agency means your electricity supplier to whom you are paying the bill. They are not very much they are not very straight way helping the support of this. Then higher cost of the funds. Higher cost of the fund means in India, the cost of the fund plays a big role in making the economics viable or unviable. And the cost of funds is a big issue. It ranges from 8% to 12%, 14%. Quality of the solar panel, cleaning of solar panel, waste disposal. These are the challenges which are required for these solar energy development in the country. You can still see that we are in most of the places. You imagine you can clean one or two panels, but imagine a megawatt scale plant having 500,000 panels. How we are going to clean it? And in India the dust is an issue. So once it accumulates, it reduces the efficiency of the solar cell. So the electricity produced is it directly affects the revenue of the developer. So cleaning in many of the areas at many seasons is recommended at least twice in a week, up to that level. Otherwise, twice in a month is okay, normal system. But during the summer season, during dusty season, you have to have it cleaned and water is required. So that is one of the major issue and challenge before the developer. Another one which is not being emphasized right now, but the focus has started, is how you are going to tackle the solar module waste. And I would encourage most of the institutions like yours to work on this area and develop the disposal systems. Disposal means suppose a 500 megawatt power plant after 20 years of its life, we today life is 20 years, but tomorrow if the efficiency of the solar cell shoots up to 40% or 30%, then certainly that power plant would like to replace its existing panel into the new one so that they can get the more benefit. So at that time what they are going to do with the existing panels, it's a big question. Today even the regulations have to come. It is not categorized under any category of the waste. It is not categorized even under the e-waste. So we are working with the concerned ministry and department to have a proper guidelines for the waste disposal of the solar modules. Storage is one of the biggest boon it can become if we get the proper and viable, economically viable storage technologies available in the country. So for the first time in a very commercial way, our ministry had a bid. Solar Energy Corporation of India had a bid for 1,200 megawatt capacity, and two companies have offered their peak tariff rate and off-peak rates at two different rates. You can see that means with storage today you can get a solar power at 6 rupees 85 paisa or 6 rupees, around 6 rupees a unit. So this is also one of the very good development. Today at 6 rupees, and tomorrow if you get this stored power at 3 rupees or 4 rupees, then solar is going to beat all the resources. And storage is one of the biggest challenge which today it is required. So things have started, and to maintain the standards and specifications is very important. So earlier the IEC standards were being adopted by the government, but we worked with the BIS to have our own Indian standards. And today you can see I'm just listing few of the standards which have been adopted, and most of the standards have been taken from the IEC, and some new standards have been taken. So today we have standard for the module testing, we have a standard for the inverter testing, we have a standard for the batteries, we have standard for the lighting testing system, thermal test, and so on. But standards are still being developed for so many other components. So this is one of the areas where the research institutions can work together with National Institute of Solar Energy or the Government of India if they have any things with them to develop in this. At the same time, when you have a new sector, you need a lot of skill development and training. So in this, a very large program of the country, I would say of the program of the world, is being implemented in our country, which is named as Surya Mitra program. We call it the Sun's Friend, and these are the technicians. These are the technician level program in which the ITI pass people, and in many now the diploma pass people are also coming of some engineering background. They understand the electricity, they understand the mechanical aspects of this, and they are trained for a period of 3 months. It's a completely 100% funded program by the government, and National Institute of Solar Energy is executing this program. And over the last 3-4 years, we have done about 42,000 people trained all over the country, and many of these people are getting good jobs. People, and many of them, the best part is they are starting their own business. So one of the component of this program is to develop this self-employment among the technicians, because they work in the installation, they work in the operation, they work in the post-operation maintenance, rooftop installation. Then they can provide services for the post installation of the rooftop, regular maintenance, like other drinking water system. You can have them at your role. They can come every 3 months and check your plants. So these are the business areas they have come into being. And at the same time, the National Institute of Solar Energy developed many training programs in and around for the solar to cover all aspects of the solar technologies. Startup program, PV system design, PV system installation, advanced professional course. We have started a 6 months solar advanced professional course. This is exclusively for the students who have completed graduation, or the professionals who are working at the field level, but they want to have the in-depth training on the solar. So it's a fully concentrated program on the solar aspects. Then MES, we are working for MES, we are doing solar analytics program, and so on. There are many other programs which are being implemented. So training is one of the major aspects of the solar technology, and the Ministry of External Affairs is also supporting a lot, in which the trainees are coming from all over the world in our institution, National Institute of Solar Energy, and we are conducting this training in a batches of 30 to 40 or so, and this is totally supported by the Ministry of External Affairs. And this year, means the last year itself, we did about 7 such programs, and you can see that about 276 participants participated in this. In fact, one of our programs was going on last month, second, this program in which about 15 international participants are still stranded in our institute. So we are finding them because of this COVID situation. So we are finding it, we are hosting them rather, because their country also, and there is no source of transportation for them. Two new initiatives I just thought to cover that that has been done on a very commercial way by our institution. You can see this is one of the solar dryer cum space heating system. It has been developed at NICE, in which this is very good for the areas of Leh, Ladakh, Kargil, and those who are where the temperature goes very very low or remains very low all the times, but the solar insolation is very good. We have very clean and clear solar insolation. So this was developed for the apricot and apricot drying system, and during the off season it is connected to the home where it keeps your home warm. About 300 systems are being installed in the first phase and 300 systems in the second phase. 600 systems. NICE is installing. NICE has taken as a challenge by installing it itself, because we install it, we monitor it, we do some research at the field level. So government of J&K has given this work to NICE, and it is these are being installed even at the very challenging period of time. You can see one of the our dryer being visited by the Honorable Prime Minister. This is what we call it a solar ATM. Means you get the drinking RO quality water through solar system. It's a simple RO system which is exclusively designed for a particular area, and this is the system which is installed at our NICE campus. And with this system, we are saving about a lakh of rupees per month earlier, which we would have been spending on the buying the water from outside, because the water available at that place is very harder, and we have to be very careful. So this has been installed. We did it under R&D project, and about 5 such systems have been installed. They are working very fine. In Sufficient Hospital, you can see it. Village Khurrampur and some civil hospital. At 2 systems we have installed at NICE. They are working very well, and now we are getting a lot of demand for installation at various places. And this is a drink. Hello.
Dr.
This is a drinking.
Dr. Tripathi, there are many questions to be taken. So if you can just conclude, and also you have one interesting video, we can have a look at it, and then we'll take the question.
Okay. So this is the same solar water system, drinking water system. We are installing in a very nearby village, which is called Faridpur from Gurugram, in Gurugram district, where you can see 30,000 liters per day solar purified water will be supplied to the 2 villages they are nearby, and it will be supplied through the pipeline. I mean, through normal system. This system was going to be inaugurated in April, but I think now it will take some time. The another one is the solar cold storage. This is a development we have installed at Mathura, Agartala, at very places, and this is exclusively this solar cold storage is working on the solar energy. During daytime it stores, and during night time it stores in a 3-phase material, and during night time it releases. So it has a backup up to 3 days. If you do not have any sun, you can do it. These are also being installed in a very commercial manner. Few photographs I would just like to see, just quick run through, so that you can see a glimpse of various installation in our country. This I have already shown. Some solar power plants at a very commercial places, rooftops solar system, ISBT. Then we covered metro. We covered in institutions. We covered metro and all the potential places where it is required. And you can see that the biggest application is the solar parking. The Medanta Hospital, if you see that there is a huge solar parking with 500 kilowatt solar power plants. Over that, Chandigarh has been declared as a solar city where all the institutions, universities, colleges having the solar rooftop, grid-connected rooftop power plants at their places. So Chandigarh is called as a solar city, and this is a metro. And this is, I always show this slide. This is one of the largest solar grid-connected rooftop system in the world. So this is not one of the largest. This is the largest system which is available in our country. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Good question here. He says, I want to ask about agrivoltaic which we have installed.
Agrivoltaic in a very small manner in our place, in which we have, in fact, we also have about 760 kilowatt plants available in our campus. So, in which we tried in a certain strips of the area, but so far it has not come into in a big way. And we find that this is one of the very promising area in which in many of the solar parks, the available space within the solar panels can be utilized. So we'll be very happy to work with some university in Jodhpur has come forward for developing. But any low sized crops or the crops which are underground crops, they can be easily used to.
Okay, there are some interesting questions as well. Somebody said it's a very informative talk. How can we join the training program? To deliver the training from the various universities. Can we join our hands with you to train people?
Yes, we'll be very happy. You can if you want to have these training at your place, also it can be done. The faculties can be made available. Few faculties are from our place, and few faculty we hire the professionals during the training at different places. So we can share it, and we can do it in association with other universities also.
Yeah, Amity University, Haryana is also doing under the headship of Dr. Shubhra Das. We have already trained about 30 students of 4 batches in Surya Mitra, and one is going on. Okay, and thank you very much, sir, for supporting us in this event also.
Very good.
There are other questions actually. One person is asking how is the subsidy government is giving, and whether the subsidies continued in the current scenario also for the rooftop solar power plants.
Subsidy, as in my few slides, I mentioned that the subsidy is available only for residential rooftop systems. All the other sectors have been removed from the subsidy regime, in which 40% subsidy is available of the benchmark cost. When I call 40% subsidy, means there is certain benchmark cost, and up to 3 kilowatt system, if I install at my home, I will get this subsidy, and it is administered through the nodal department, nodal agencies. And today, most of the DISCOMs, electricity supplying company, if you want to install at your place, you contact your electricity supplying company, and they'll be happy to install it.
Okay, is there any plan to start manufacturing units for solar cells and concentrating collectors for solar thermal in India?
There are no plans from the government side, but private, there are certain private sectors, they are doing that. But I would say that solar thermal sector has to come up, because in the backdrop of solar PV cost reduction and all, most of the solar thermal people have opted for the solar PV. So this sector has to be saved, and there is no direct subsidy available for this.
There is one more interesting question. Is there any smart field technology that the planes will be maintained, the panels will be maintained from remote locations or drones, etc.?
Yes. In fact, we are conducting, because NICE is also doing the consultancy work, and there are many private people doing that. So for that to have a complete thorough checking of the plants, we are doing it using the drone system, in which the thermal checking of each and every module is being done. So drone is a very helpful technology for survey, for checking, for this thing.
They're asking that what is the difficulty in maintaining the solar panels on the highways?
Its safety is a big issue. Okay. Safety means in an uncontrolled manner, if you put any panel on the street or roads, then safety becomes a big issue. Means there is a pilferage and other issues are there. Otherwise, if you make it safe, then or install it at a high place and where anybody can't reach, then it can work.